So we'll introduce ourselves in just a minute, but really quickly, you're at an AI conference. I'm sure you haven't been able to walk 2 feet here today without somebody from ServiceNow telling you something about AI. So we'll just reiterate again that ServiceNow is the AI platform for government transformation. You've probably seen our Infinity slide before. It's a way of networking all of your data workflows under one seamless platform. So as you think about what ServiceNow can do for your organization, we have AI agents, data, and workflows. We connect all of those things seamlessly. And today we're going to focus on some things you probably haven't seen before. So, while we could be going down this journey and talking more about the things that you've already heard, instead, today we're going to focus and take a different approach. And so I am going to have us briefly throw our safe harbor notice up, just as our caveat to say, please don't make any purchasing decisions as a result of what you're going to see in this session. That said, we're really excited to show you the things that we're going to show you in this session. So first, who are we and what are we doing here today? We're going to start with a little bit of a fireside chat and kind of weave in our demos. It's not going to be super linear necessarily because we wanted this to be really conversational. And so we do want to leave some time for some Q&A and some discussion at the end.
Great. So I'm happy to introduce. Today we have joining us from Comcast, Dr. Kate, and then my wonderful esteemed colleague here, Alaina Beaver, but we will call her Dr. A because these ladies are extremely educated and we are so glad to have them join us as specialists today. And my name is Vicky Crea. I'm on the accessibility and platform team. I'm going to be having my best Trevor Noah moment up here. I'm going to be more of like a moderator. I'll be running our demos today and taking us through our journey. All right, so our first question here is, what do we mean when we talk about digital opportunity?
Yeah, so look, digital opportunity is what we talk about when we're talking about making software that works for everyone. And so usability is of utmost importance. We have a diverse citizenry that we need to serve. And in order to reach people with the maximum possible impact, we are designing for this moment of being able to reach everyone. Everyone needs to be able to have the opportunity to engage with their technology and kind of choose your own adventure. That's what we want to emphasize here at ServiceNow, is that when the platform is thoughtfully designed for usability, for accessibility, we have our best opportunity to truly reach everyone. And so that's at least the perspective at ServiceNow. I don't know, Kate, how are things for you at Comcast when you think about what we're talking about with digital opportunity?
Sure, I appreciate the question. I did know it was coming. But so I'll start by saying that, the opinions that I expressed here today are my opinions alone and not necessarily the opinions of Comcast or ServiceNow, since I don't work there. But I do want to start, I think most of the time when we think about digital opportunity at Comcast, it's a definition that is not at all in contradiction with what ServiceNow does, but it happens just a little bit more at the people and places side of things. So about 1 in 20 Americans does not have a home internet connection. So often what we're trying to do is thinking about how do we get people connected at home? How do we make sure that they have the whatever device that is appropriate for them to have? And then how do we think about them having the digital skills necessary to achieve whatever it is that we're trying to achieve through digital opportunity? And so I think from a services and platform perspective, obviously that often layers on top of the internet and on top of infrastructure. But I think that those two definitions are really thinking about meeting people where they are and getting them the opportunity and the tools to get to where they're going.
Absolutely.
Thank you, ladies. So our second question is, what does AI-driven usability and access for all look like across the ServiceNow platform in general?
Yeah. So we're at this unique moment where suddenly AI is everywhere. And we have some good examples of what it can do when it comes to creating a better experience for everyone. And, I think there's some nervousness. I think people are not quite sure where AI is going to take us sometimes. And especially in government, I wouldn't say that folks in government are our early adopters of our AI technologies. And that's okay. And we want to really respect that, we are all where we're at with this journey of using this new technology. And so we have some examples for you of what that will look like, but there's also some very practical examples of usability in general, and it's more commonplace than people think. Before I jump into an example, is there anything that you wanted to add about this one?
I think I'll just say that from our perspective, AI is something we've used in our services and the way we think about our network for more than a decade. Yes, there's been a ton of attention towards the newer and more generative ways of thinking about AI, but when we think about network reliability, thinking about solving issues proactively, when we think about our voice remotes, we think about any of the technological advances that we put into place, just trying to help people access the entertainment, the content, and the services they're trying to do. Those are all based on AI. So, I think it's something we've adopted and put out there, and certainly some very cool things happening at ServiceNow with the new developments.
Yeah. So let's take a look at a couple of examples of first how usability has been improving people's lives. And when we think about designing in ways that is access for everyone, we think about physical environments, curb cuts, right? This is a classic example of something that was designed for people who are wheelchair users. And now everybody can utilize, ramps to get onto a sidewalk or into any public space, right? A mother pushing a stroller, someone wheeling a heavy cart. These are things that are just part of our natural built environment now, and it's just good design. This is just part of what we talk about when we talk about usability for everyone in real world examples. But when it comes to the digital environment, we have other examples as well, some of which are already leveraging AI. So you think of automated captions or predictive text, right? Whenever you're texting someone and your phone's trying to guess what word you're creating, that was an innovation that was designed for people with limited mobility. People who maybe couldn't use that tiny keyboard well or, didn't have the ability to engage in that way. And so even though it's designed for people with a very specific need or a use case that is more specific because it's a smaller segment of the population, the outcome is a technology that is convenient for everyone, right? Lots of people are used to the predictive text as an AI tool that you use all the time. The same can be said for things like automated captioning, which is a technology that's getting better and better to improve people's lives if they're hard of hearing, but who hasn't been in a noisy restaurant and appreciated the fact that there are captions going on the television screen, right? These are things that we're already starting to bleed the divisions between, what feels new and scary versus what is already familiar and things that we're used to, right? So we're already at that moment, and I guess that's the thing that I want to really underscore here. And accessibility and usability have been really leaders in this space of driving innovation. So as we are looking at some specific examples of what this might look like for ServiceNow, we want to showcase an example for you that gives sort of a pre-post that really helps drive this home. So in a moment, I'm going to ask Vicki to introduce us to William and his context here. But this first example that we're going to show you is really a pre-post. It's what would a conformant experience look like for a screen reader user, and then how can AI make that experience so much better? So, Vicki, do you want to take us through this example?
Yeah, this is the use case that we have here. We have a colleague here who is going to be using a screen reader and working with data. And so the first experience, as was mentioned, is going to take you through what it is going to be like when he is using a screen reader, and then we'll go through a second visual demonstration, and then we'll highlight the differences. So this is the conformance versus innovative usability example.
The accessibility product team presents the Now platform, now powered by your voice. Harnessing the power of Gen AI and our large language model, the next innovation in accessible software design is our voice-activated interface. Let's have a look at the future.
Listen to this readout of how data visualization is represented by a typical screen reader. Computer, 762, 1 of 6, press enter to interact with the chart. Business service, 29, 2 of 6, press enter to interact with the chart. Bit server, 19, 3 of 6, press enter to interact with the chart.
Now, have a listen to what that same data representation could sound like using Now Assist and the power of ServiceNow's LLM to interpret and describe the data naturally and efficiently.
A bar chart that displays the distribution of discovered and undiscovered assets in various categories. The chart consists of 2 series, undiscovered and discovered. Let's break down the data for each category. There are a total of 762 computers, 10 are undiscovered and 752 have been discovered. There are 29 business services, all of which have been discovered. In addition, there are 19 servers, 10 databases, and 9 web servers, all of which have been discovered. Finally, there are 37 other assets, all of which have been discovered.
So I see some folks nodding. That's exciting.
I think as you could see from the demo, you guys all experienced both of those experiences that the screen reader user used, right? So the first one, even as a sighted person, was really overwhelming to hear all of those things. So using our AI and using the technology that we built to make our platform more usable, more accessible, not only to those that have needs, but to everyone. It was more of a seamless experience. I think we can all agree to that. Like I see those heads nodding. And so we hope that, you take away from this that AI is not scary and it's not something to fear, but really it's something that makes the digital world for all of us more accessible and easier to use. So moving on to our third question to my esteemed colleagues. How does usability and AI make productivity gains for everyone?
Yeah, so the example that we showed was really a unique one in which it was sort of the pre-post of a screen reader user, right? Not everybody is blind and using a screen reader. And so what you were hearing there is actually the output that Now Assist was giving being read aloud by William's screen reader. And so just in listening to that alone, it made so much more sense. It was natural. It was a sighted person was describing a visual experience, right? That information was generated, and if you can imagine it just on your screen, that was in the Now Assist chatbot. And as we take this a step further, how might we use voice-assisted agentic AI to actually get work done? How could we, kind of use this accessibility-driven innovation for anyone who wants to get stuff done in ServiceNow? And so as we are thinking about moving the needle into a space of innovation and productivity, this is, again, a space where, we have an exciting demo to show you, and we'll show you not only how William would use it, but we asked Vicky to play around with it. And so Vicky recorded a demo for us. We could show it live, but just for the purposes of logistics, we're going to show you the recorded version today. But then we do have an additional tool that we're going to show as a live demo here in a little bit. So yeah, let's move on to talking more about agentic AI with voice.
So this is one of our new features that was just rolled out with our latest release, which we call Yokohama. You all are familiar with our releases. So we are super excited about our voice input. So our voice input is going to be in the Now Assist panel. So once you click on the microphone, you are able to speak skills and tasks into the voice. Use your voice to input, and then the AI will generate what you have asked of it if you ask it to produce something. And I have an example here ready to show you, and we're really excited about it. So this is going to be what your voice-assisted experience is going to be like with agentic AI with the use of a screen reader. And our second example will be one without the use of a screen reader.
The Accessibility Product Team presents the Now Platform, now powered by your voice. Harnessing the power of Gen AI and our large language model, the next innovation in accessible software design is our voice-activated interface. Let's have a look at the future.
William, how can I help you with your work today?
Describe the current page.
You are on the CSN landing page. This page provides a centralized view of your high-priority tasks, your team's cases, and other performance metrics against SLAs. The header contains navigation, search, settings, and applications links. On the body of the page is a dashboard with case information and a list of cases. There are 78 high-priority cases, 6 cases that have not been updated in 3 days or longer, 12 case tasks to perform. For unassigned cases,
Open my first high priority case.
opening case CS65-34233.
Summarize record.
Here is a summary of case CS65-34233. Issue: scheduled job, load application indicators, and compute application scores. Fails to generate indicator scores due to customization referencing a custom script include. Actions taken: linked extas 128310. Scores are not being generated for OOB application indicators with custom script, data sources under application portfolio management resolution. Hit enter to view more.
What is the short description?
The current short description of the case is out-of-box scheduled job fails to generate indicator scores.
Change the short description to scheduled job fails to generate indicator scores.
Are you sure you would like to change the short description FO case CS65-34233 to scheduled job fails to generate indicator scores? Select yes or no.
Yes.
The short description of case CS65-34233 has been changed to scheduled job fails to generate indicator scores.
Save and close the record.
Case CS65-34233 has been saved.
Did you all notice the experience of the user speaking into it and then the experience of the screen reader reading back to the user that needs the support? So something that we wanted to point out is that I think that this is Voice Assist is new to our platform in our Yokohama release, but I'm sure that is something that all of us have used before. If you've ever asked Siri a question, if you've ever asked Alexa a question, or if you're like me and you're too lazy to type and you just use voice to text in your messages. So we are bringing that sort of seamless experience for everybody into our platform. So this is a demo that I had recorded with our Voice Assist in Agentic Voice Assist with Agentic AI for somebody who is not using a screen reader so that you all have both experiences.
Welcome everyone. Today we're excited to showcase voice input for AI agents. We'll walk through some key examples of how easy and intuitive it is to use voice input for AI agents. You'll see how users can initiate tasks or retrieve information simply by speaking. Voice input for AI agents increases efficiency, improves accuracy, and provides an enhanced user experience of the ServiceNow platform and agentic AI features. First, we'll want to ensure that voice input is enabled. To do so, we'll navigate to Preferences, then to Accessibility, and we'll want to ensure Enable voice input for the Now Assist panel is toggled on. We'll go ahead and open up an incident. We'll open up this incident here. Now we'll go ahead and navigate up to Now Assist here. And as you can see, the panel has appeared on the right-hand side. To enable voice input, all we'll need to do is click on the microphone, speak our voice input into Now Assist, and click on the microphone again to ensure that it has stopped recording. Now Assist will then generate what you have asked of it. Let's go ahead and give it a try now. Summarize this incident.
Sorry, that was
You'll
so
see
loud.
here that Now Assist has generated a summary of this incident. Summarize work notes. You'll see here that there is a brief and concise summarization of the issue, the key actions taken, and the SLA affected CIs and impacted services. And lastly, if I wanted to generate resolution notes, I could do so as well. Generate resolution notes. And here are the generated resolution notes for this incident. Voice input supports ServiceNow's goal of being the defining enterprise software of the 21st century as a leader in AI and accessibility. According to a Forrester report of the Consumer Benchmark Survey in 2024, 30% of enterprise customers with accessibility needs expect voice interactions capabilities. About 1.3 billion individuals worldwide have a disability. At ServiceNow, we are happy to support the accessibility community and enable the entire workforce to make the world of work work. Please feel free to reach out to us if you have any questions.
I hope you all saw that that was like a pretty quick and seamless experience and how it was different than the experience of a person that may be using a screen reader, and how simple it is. I know that, one, I just generally would like my resolution notes generated for me too. I love it if it could be done with my voice. So I hope that this makes our voice input AI offering a little less intimidating for you all.
So as we sort of move into our second example, have we sold you on AI yet? Are we feeling good? All right. We are fully aware that we are sort of the last stop between you and us and drinks. And so we're going to try to like pick up the energy just a little bit. We also have some great free stuff that we're going to give you. So my colleagues are going to circulate as we get into our Q&A and hand you some things that are really, really awesome. And so lucky you, you're in the room and you get to take it home. Before we get there, though, the last thing that we want to show isn't AI, but it's free. And so now I have your ear. So, you know, what's really a blessing about being able to work at ServiceNow and to work on an innovative team like the accessibility product team is that we get to hear a variety of different needs from users. And we are thinking about the future of work. We're thinking about where government needs to go as we are serving our diverse citizenry. And these solutions are complex. They're intersectional. It's multifaceted, right? There's no one-click solution that's going to work for everybody all the time. And so that's why we need to have options and to allow you all to kind of choose your own adventure, not only as workers and within your own agencies, but as you serve the public and as we develop experiences that are citizen-facing. And so we want to show this next example under the lens of how we create environments where everyone feels that they can be successful regardless of what they need and what they're bringing to the table. So as you're thinking about, which may be, I'll give this lens through a different government. So I've had the pleasure of working with some of our colleagues in Germany. And in Germany, they have an interesting situation where they have a federal agency that provides a lot of funding to people, that all of their retirement checks and all of their public assistance go through this one great big agency of 130,000 employees in Germany. They have 700 locations across the country of Germany where people can go to these physical locations. And they're facing a retirement cliff. 40% of their workforce is going to retire in about 10 years. So they're working with ServiceNow to automate and digitize and kind of move into this new era of having more seamless and efficient workflows, moving away from paper-based processes. And they also want to attract a new workforce. But they have a problem. A lot of young German workers don't really want to work for the government. Go figure. They, you know, they are interested in working with technology that feels, you know, fresh and exciting and whatever. Well, we're changing the face of government, first of all. So some of that is transforming just because they're working with ServiceNow and they're updating and modernizing their systems. But we're also thinking about, what does this new workforce need? And an amazing statistic from EY is that 53% of the incoming Gen Z workforce, this is individuals up to the age of 28, identify as neurodivergent. I don't know about you, but when I do that math, 53% is not a minority anymore. That's the new majority of people who identify as having some kind of neurodivergence going on in their brain, whether that means they're ADHD or they're dyslexic or they have some kind of reading impairment, whatever that might look like for them. And so how do we accommodate people in this new world? How do we open up an era of digital opportunity where people can just come to work and be seen and feel like they can just adjust their settings and go forth and be successful at work? So with this question in mind, we started down this path of, okay, well, what can we do at ServiceNow to just start small? A common problem that people with neurodivergence have is that they get overwhelmed by a lot of text. It becomes difficult to focus. It becomes difficult to speed read and be efficient with large volumes of text. And there are tools that exist, digital tools for adjusting the text in a UI to make it easier to read and digest. That already exists, but it can be kind of expensive. And so, for example, your kids at college that are using this stuff, it's expensive. And currently, a lot of organizations that use these subscriptions, you have to go to HR, you have to kind of out yourself as somebody who has this need for this software, you have to wait for it to get installed, and then you have two different systems that might not be talking to each other. And so we were like, let's solve this problem. And so we've solved it, and our fastest go-to-market strategy was with a Chrome extension that will live in your browser and allow you to adjust text in any UI in dynamic ways. And so Vicky's going to help show this right now as an example of good corporate citizenship. We're giving this away for free. We want people to be using it. We're engaging in a couple different partnerships with school districts right now to just put it on kids' Chromebooks so that they can use it. It's Chromium based, so it'll work in Edge too. If you're a government employee, you can't have Chrome, but you can't have Edge. Great news, you can have this too. So let's take a look.
Right. So this is going to be our Text Adjust Neurodiversity plugin. As shared, it is going to work in Chrome and Edge. I know that as a just typically sighted person, that I sometimes at the end of the day, my eyes strain. I actually wear glasses. I'm not wearing them right now. And I think at some point in our life, most of us are going to need glasses, unless you are blessed, and I'm jealous. So I am, again, aware that I'm the last thing standing between you and happy hours. So we're going to learn a little bit about the espresso martini that we're going to have in a few minutes. So as you can see here, our Text Adjust Chrome plugin has appeared right here. And I'm going to go ahead and turn it on. And I'm going to turn these off just to show you a little bit more. So the first thing I'll do is I'll want to activate my font. Say that I'm a person with dyslexia. I have the option of using the Open Dyslexic font. Say perhaps I just want to use one of these other fonts that we have selected here that have easy readability and accessibility for those who need support. I'm going to use our Open Dyslexic one. Okay, as you can see, all of the font about espresso martinis has changed. And then I can also activate other things here. So you'll see here, I'm going to bring these all back down to standard to show you how it works. Our word spacing. I have the font that I need, but say this is really difficult for me to read. Again, I didn't want to out myself and use a screen reader, or perhaps it's just the end of a long day and my eyes are tired. I can go ahead and increase the space between words. All right. If I'm still struggling to see, I can go ahead and increase the letter spacing between those words. So I know a lot of us do that Control Plus. We all have when I can't see something in text. So this is a really great tool so that you don't have to use that. And then here I can also increase my line height. So it makes it easier for me to read between lines. And as well, let's go ahead and move here to where you can see different paragraphs. our paragraph spacing. So as you can see, this page has all of the same information as it did prior to us turning on text suggest. But if I'm a person who needs these modifications, I'm able to read this so much more seamlessly. Can you raise your hand if you think that this would be a useful tool for you? Love to see it, because we all get our tired eyes at the end of the day. And then if it's simple and you're like, oh, I'm done with this, I don't need it anymore, it's the next morning, I'm refreshed, I'm ready to go, turn it off. And we're right back to where we started. So we hope that that was a helpful demonstration. And this is available in the ServiceNow store.
Thank you, Vicki. Really appreciate that. Yeah, and I mean, it's here, it's live. If you want to come up and play with it after the session's over, we're happy to give you the QR code so that you can go and download it and be putting it in your browser, in your kid's browser, wherever you want it to be. And so, you know, as we are wrapping up here and moving into a couple of minutes of Q&A, I will ask Aileen if you want to start moving around the room to hand out our cards so that nobody misses out on getting some resources that we have to share. You know, thinking about digital opportunity for everyone is just one of those topics that we're really passionate about. And these are two concrete examples of how ServiceNow is working to solve that problem. Kate, bring us home with some final thoughts about how this all resonates for you and sort of connecting us with the larger technological landscape.
I feel like I have to be the third person reiterating, I know I'm standing between you and happy hour. But so I think it's really important when this sort of big AI conversation started happening last year. And people, I think people panicked. Some people were very excited. Some people were scared. There was sort of a range of emotions of what was happening out there. And as a researcher and a trained researcher and a person who is lucky enough that they get to do research all day as a job, we spent a lot of time at Comcast thinking about what does this look like from an employment perspective, from an opportunity perspective, from a skilling perspective, since we're always trying to make sure that people have not just that connection, but also the skills they need to use it. And so we launched a study that we conducted with the National Skills Coalition to really try to understand what's under the hood of this panic that we were hearing about from people. And I think the short answer is that top line stat that you read that always makes the headline, it says, 2/3 of people are concerned or worried or very concerned about AI when they're thinking about their jobs. That's a legitimate stat. It's one that's out here, and I think it's important for us to know. But when you ask those same people about what's under the hood, like what are they concerned about? The vast majority of them understand that they're going to be working alongside AI. And the concern comes because they don't have access to the skilling that they need or the training or the tools that they need to get comfortable with using and working alongside AI. And I like to produce one large stat for each audience because it's very challenging to get 85% of people to agree with almost anything. But about 85% of people are in support of programs and opportunities and digital training that would allow them to work alongside AI, use it as part of their productivity suite, and actually use it as part of their job skills. So I think it's an exciting place to think and to do research, but also just understand that while there are concerns, so often they are grounded in opportunities that I think folks in this room and people on this stage can absolutely help with. So thank you for giving me that last word there. I appreciate it, Alaina.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you, Kate. And that kind of brings us to the end of our time, but we have a little bit of time to hopefully get a question from the audience or, yeah.
So I have a question which might already be a feature in this, but for example, I know for us, we put a lot of attachment photos in a lot of records, and is it something where when you ask, summarize workflows, is it able to open up that image and also kind of interpret that data or that Excel spreadsheet into that summary as well?
Yeah, that's a great question. So was everybody able to hear her? Well, okay, cool. Thank you. Appreciate the thumbs up. So the question was, if you have additional input that is visual, is it able to analyze that as well and work with it? That is something that we're currently working on. So part of that in accessibility terms, it's optical character recognition, being able to take something that is just an image and to be able to scour it for discernible text, for example. Also being able to use like the similar kind of AI that social media or whatever might be using to describe, you take a photograph and it's like, oh, there's three people, three faces, three smiling faces in this photo. We are using that same kind of technology to begin to interpret the data and to make sense of it. That's all currently work in progress. So if you try to upload, some images as part of your knowledge base and then ask Voice Assist to summarize them, that won't be a this release kind of thing yet, but it is on the roadmap. So something we're working on.
And I can add to that. Hi, I'm Aileen Hackett. I work with Alaina on accessibility product team. And one thing we did add in Yokohama as well is the ability for if you're uploading an image in Service Catalog or with a knowledge article, it now has an accessibility checker there. So it will check that your article is accessible, or it will prompt you to help you add alt text to describe the image. And so that's released with the Yokohama release. And because you asked a question, I'm going to gift, who asked the question? I'm going to gift you a pack of these accessibility cards, which we're handing out, which we use internally at ServiceNow. Our design team and engineering team use them to understand how the UI needs to be designed to facilitate people who have a disability. And there's multiple types of disabilities and people who have multiple disabilities, so to be aware of that. So thank you for your question.
Anyone else? Yep, back in the back. Sorry.
Playback speed on the voice reading, is that configurable?
So
I hate to sound negative, but it almost sounds like one of those car commercials that's trying to get the terms and conditions in real fast.
Yeah, no, that's a great question. And we've had that question before. So when you were hearing the examples where there was a voice reading out the output out loud, that is the user's personal screen reader. And that is 100% configurable. And for most people who are sighted, it's not going to read anything out loud to you because it's voice input, but not necessarily voice output. And so the thing that was reading out loud was a separate technology for people who are blind. And so typically screen reader users who are native screen reader users have it way faster than that even, and it is overwhelming. What we were really trying to drive home there is that if you are an assistive tech user, the difference between a conformant but very patently bad user experience where you're getting data that doesn't make a whole lot of sense, but it technically is the conformant experience, versus what AI can do to help make for a more seamless and understandable experience is the thing that we're really showcasing there. If you want to use a screen reader and have it be slowed way down, then by all means, it's 100% configurable and you can make that happen.
Yeah, I was just thinking also if you're trying to
show it, yeah, I know. Yeah, I know. It is a little overwhelming. Yeah. I appreciate that feedback. Thank you.
Well, we hope. Oh, sorry, sir.
No, that's
your
okay.
hand there. The blinding light.
You even have the mic, so
the mic.
You're ready.
He's prepared.
Yeah, I just wanted to comment that your first Voice Assist demo where you showed the difference there made me actually want to use it to design for a Siri type natural language experience. So
That warms my heart.
So have you have you guys thought about that? Is that something that we could evolve towards, where I'm designing for mobile first, and I'm not. It's just for usability across the board.
Exactly.
With the voice experience. Is this the right product for that? Is that in your vision, in your roadmap?
Aileen, do you want to help answer that, actually? Aileen is our roadmap guru.
That's a good question. And we love, yes, you get a gift too.
Priorities.
I have one left, guys. No, that's a great question. And yes, we want to do more with voice. I mean, this initial implementation that just came out in January is voice to now assist. But the ideal scenario is that, I could be, wanting to raise a ticket. and I'm on my phone, and I haven't got access to my laptop, and I can do it all through voice. I could initiate the whole workflow, and that's where we're going in the upcoming releases, to navigate, to do commands, to fill out a form, and be able to use your voice with mobile to achieve all that. So great question.
Whether on your mobile phone or you're just folding laundry and you want to get work done and multitask, that's the future.
Well, I'd love for you all to take a look at that card that you have in front of you. That card has a lot of wonderful information about accessibility. On the back of it, I believe,
does everyone have one?
Everyone should have one. On the back of it, I believe that there's a QR code that you can scan that'll take you to our text suggest. So we hope that you enjoy that gratis gift that we have for you. It's not as cool as like a shirt or anything that we could hand out to you, but we hope that you all use the text suggest plugin and that if you have any questions, there's some contact information there on the card. And then our contact information is up here on the screen as well. Feel free to take a picture. And we're going to be hanging out in this room for a few more minutes. If you want a demo, if you have your laptop, you want me to help you install text suggest right now, I am more than happy to help you.
And if you want a pack of those cards and we don't have time for more questions, don't worry. You can get the cards too. Just come see us.
Yes.
We have lots of fun stuff. Nobody's gatekeeping digital opportunity here. We want you to have all of the things. Please take the things from us and go forth and be successful. So
thank you, everybody, for joining. Please fill out the survey.
Yes.
We're going to be hanging out here.